Almost every Dungeons & Dragons player has their favorite class, their favorite race, their favorite feats they want to use, but what really is the best? Let's work together and find out in Fantasy Fight Club. Hey fellow Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner, and today I'm presenting to you a concept in development show I titled Fantasy Fight Club. The idea behind this is we put one player versus another player in a knockdown, drag-out, winner-takes-all, one-on-one PvP match using the Dungeons & Dragons rules with a couple alterations to allow for a more balanced game experience. This and the next two episodes in this series are actually videos that I shot a couple months ago using some of the players from one of my home games where I invited them to come fight against each other. I presented them the rules and we made this little Fantasy Fight Club for you. So how does this all work? Let's go over the basics. Two players are assigned a level and a certain budget, which with they can buy equipment to take into the fight. Over the next 3 episodes, you're going to meet the players participating, they're going to choose their class, and then in the next episode, they're going to present the characters that they've built using the class and budget constraints that I presented to them. Then in the 3rd episode, they take those characters that they designed into an arena to fight to the death. I would also mention that throughout this video, I do say that the fight is tomorrow. After I filmed this video, I decided to change that to spread it out a little more to make things easier on myself. So for now, just come back for the next video to meet the characters. So in today's episode, let's go ahead and meet the players and lay out the rules. Today I have 2 competitors who I've known for a bit, but we're going to bring them in and talk to them a little bit about their history in the game, just a brief moment, and then we'll set them up to make their characters for tomorrow's match. First up, we have Colin Bressy. Colin, how did you get started in the game, and what are you looking forward to in this upcoming fight?
Man, so I first played D&D, or the model of it, in like a modern zombie apocalypse back in college, and we played it for a while. So I got together with a bunch of theater friends, and we played it then, and then I had a blast, but, you know, life happens, and hadn't really thought about getting back into it until another buddy of mine that I live next door is literally my next door neighbor. He was like, man, I really want to play D&D again. And through our connection, because you ended up in one of my stage combat classes a couple years ago, Richard, you were like, hey man, like if you ever want to play D&D, you should call me and like let me know. And I was like, all right. And lo and behold, there it was. And you know, a whole group of us we'd always talked about it. It's something that, you know, we'd talked about for forever. So the opportunity provided itself, and you know, it's really you, Richard. I'd played it before, but you were the gateway drug, as it were, to this whole rabbit hole. Yeah, it's your fault, Richard.
I like being associated with drugs.
Well, you are to blame. You are to blame, sir.
Excellent. Any words for your opponent for tomorrow?
I mean, I let my actions speak louder than my words. So, my opponent, I've known quite some time, and he knows that I'm a man of action. So we'll leave it at that.
All right, on to our next opponent, next competitor here, Chris Martin. Welcome to Fantasy Fight Club. How did you get involved in Dungeons & Dragons?
Thank you for having me. I missed the Dungeons & Dragons train when I was a kid. I actually got into Warhammer 40K, to be honest, and kind of like D&D in a sense, where the models and the rolling. And as a child, I found out very expensive hobby. And then flash forward, time goes by. Colin hit me up and said, "Hey, we're doing this D&D campaign. We would love you to come play with us." And I was like, "That sounds like fun. What do you need?" And he's like, "Well, we're getting murdered. We can maybe use a cleric." And I'm like, I'm in. I don't know what a cleric is, but I'm in. And I was able to join you and Colin and the gang, and it's been fun. I think we're going on almost 2 years on our session. I call therapy sessions as they are, but yeah, they're super fun.
Chris, any words for your opponent?
Colin Bressy, I understand that you're a professor. Well, prepare for your next class to be a lesson in pain, administered by me, the Dean of Ass Whippings.
Excellent. clearly you guys have some pent-up frustrations, Colin being the man of action and Chris being the dean of pain and ass-whoopings. Now that you've met Colin and Chris, we're going to talk about the rules of Fantasy Fight Club. The first rule is you can talk about Fantasy Fight Club to whoever you want, because that's cool. So what are the rules for building a character in Fantasy Fight Club? Before their match, the players are given a level and a budget in gold that they can spend to buy equipment necessary for the character. For levels, they are not allowed to multi-class at this point because I'm trying to stick with the classes as they're laid out, the basic classes, but multi-classing could come into play later on. For Colin and Chris, the limits are they can build a level 5 character and they can have 5,000 gold to spend on their equipment. How do we find out how much the equipment costs? Well, along with the player handbook dealing with the mundane items, I also use the Sane Magic Item Prices list that was published, and details are in the description below on that. I did not make it, someone else did, and it's fantastic. In addition to that, they have one restriction on top of that they are allowed to purchase only 3 consumables. This could be potions, scrolls, things like that can be used and then aren't expended. This prevents players from going through and buying tons and tons of potions and just drinking potions the whole time. They have to fight. That's the point. And then next, as you'll see, I present the arena to the players. Then they have a roll-off, and they get to choose which class they're going to prepare their characters to be. Let's get into that. Before you choose your class, you need to know what this arena is going to be like. The arena is going to be largely lava-based. The floor will have several pools of lava that if you fall in, you will be taking 3d6 fire damage on landing in the lava. Each round, on the 20 of initiative, the arena will have its own action where it will roll and see if it sinks further into the lava. If it does, you'll have less and less terrain to stand on. This will happen 4 times total before the whole arena will be in the lava and you guys will be stuck fighting while burning.
That sounds pretty tame. Pretty tame arena.
Pretty tame?
That sounds amazing. That sounds like we're gonna be hot on our toes and have to think quickly. I'm excited. I don't know if Chris is gonna kill me as much as the arena probably is gonna kill me.
We'll see what happens. Let's get to choosing your classes. Again, remember level 5, 5,000 gold is your limit. We've talked briefly about rolling the dice. My 2 rules was you may both either use digital dice roller or you may use real dice, but with the real dice, I want you to use dice towers. Do you both have dice towers or do you want to go digital? Excellent. So, choosing a class, you guys will both roll 1d20. The higher number, yes, 1d20. The higher number will get to choose their class first, and the loser will get to choose their starting position in the arena in the fight.
I've rolled. I have my dice ready. Looks like you're really well prepared for this.
Yes, Chris, this is a real problem. You knew what we were doing.
So has Colin rolling his dice already?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
Right.
I'm not addressing you, Colin. I'm asking Richard. Has Colin rolled his dice already?
Apparently he has. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently he did.
Okay. I have rolling.
Okay. What are the results? Let's start with
13.
Colin. 13? Chris?
I also rolled 13.
This has never happened in the history of Fantasy Fight Club before. We have a tie on the class roll-off. Do it again. Just do it again.
Dual initiative.
Let's arm wrestle for it.
All right. Rolling a second.
All right. Colin, your number?
2.
2?
13.
13 again. In that case, Chris Martin, you're the winner. You get to choose your class. The rule of classes is you cannot both pick the same class. So, take a moment and then announce your class.
I'm going to go with Ranger.
Ranger. Interesting choice. Colin. Chris is bringing a ranger to the lava arena. What are you going to bring?
A monk.
A monk. Okay. So a ranger and a monk face off in an arena full of lava. You guys have 24 hours to create your characters, including all their equipment. Again, no starting equipment is included, everything you have to purchase. And we will see you tomorrow. So as you can see at this point, Chris is going to be coming back with a ranger, and Colin is going to be coming back with a monk. Come back in the next video to see what characters they actually built, how they spent their gold as we break down their character build, and in the following video, they will actually go toe-to-toe in the arena.